What if I told you that the seeds you start indoors today could feed you for a lifetime? After nearly 2 decades of growing food in 2 different climates, I'm focusing on creating a truly self-sustaining garden in less than 1/8 of an acre and one that keeps producing year after year. It all starts with the way we plant today. Heirloom seeds are a game changer because once you grow them, you can save the seeds and never buy them again. And for most growing zones, March is the deadline to start these 4 high-yielding crops indoors for a head start. Stay tuned because I've drilled down my seed starting method over 12 years to grow strong, healthy seedlings ready to thrive all summer. The truth is that all heirloom seeds are open pollinated, but not all open pollinated seeds are heirloom. All open pollinated seeds can be saved year after year and grow true to type. Heirloom seeds are special though because they're passed down through generations, they have unique flavors, and they're known for their ability to adapt to local growing conditions. Hybrids are created by crossing the genes of 2 different varieties or species, and then they are bred for specific traits like disease resistance or yield. The choice between open pollinated, heirloom, and hybrid plants depends on your goals and needs. For the past decade, I've grown hybrid varieties suited to the Southeast for disease resistance and high yields, but to gain control over my seed supply and boost self-sufficiency, I'm now focusing on heirloom crops in my smaller garden. Downsizing my garden does not mean sacrificing productivity though. Instead, I'm focusing on high yield, high value crops to maximize self-sufficiency in a smaller space. High value garden foods vary for every gardener, and what's worth growing for one person might not be for another. The best crops for you are the ones that fit your needs, climate, and taste. Stay tuned to my channel because once the seedlings we're about to start are ready to be transplanted, the direct sown summer crops are going to go in. These include heat-tolerant lettuce, squash, both summer and winter, melons, corn, cucumbers, beans, and more. I used to grow around 32 tomato plants each year, turning hundreds of pounds into sauce and salsa, and this year I am scaling back to 2 varieties. I'll be growing 2 beefsteak plants for slicing and 2 large red cherry plants for fresh sauce and salads, since I'm not going to be canning as much. You can expect between 20 and 30 large variety tomatoes per indeterminate plant and literally hundreds of small ones. By using the square foot gardening method and my new Garden Minutes cages, I'll ensure proper airflow and support for these indeterminate plants. Tomatoes are one of the most productive crops per square foot, perfect for maximizing small spaces as long as you enjoy them in your diet. Peppers are another powerhouse crop, and some say that they're not ideal for self-sufficiency, but I disagree with that. They're nutrient dense, easy to preserve, and expensive to buy fresh. This year, I'm growing 2 Anaheim plants, 2 cayenne, 2 jalapeno, and 4 California Wonder Bell pepper plants, all prolific and space efficient. Larger pepper varieties like bells can yield 10 to 15 peppers per plant, while smaller ones like jalapenos can easily reach 50 or more. It depends on the variety. This is my first year growing Black Beauty eggplant, a classic heirloom known for its large, glossy fruits, and I'm very excited to see how it thrives in my space and explore ways to cook and preserve it. I think I'm going to grow a couple of these plants, which can produce up to 15 each. Alongside these, I'm starting herbs, all of which are going to go into grow bags for easy management and harvest. To make this even more seamless as I continue building out my garden, I've chosen curated seed packs from Organo Republic. Their non-GMO true heirloom varieties have been meticulously tested for germination, and they're sourced exclusively from US growers. Fresh herbs make everything taste better, and did you know giving them a head start indoors will help you enjoy them longer? I used to wait until after my last frost date to direct sow herbs, but by then I'd always find myself wanting to enjoy them right away with my cool season greens. Now I start them indoors so I can enjoy fresh basil, dill, cilantro, and parsley at least a month sooner. Herbs are extremely high value crops that grow densely and produce abundant harvests in small spaces. For example, I'll plant 2 basil plants and 2 parsley plants in one 10-gallon grow bag, and maybe 2 cilantro in another and 2 dill in another. Even common culinary herbs are expensive in stores right now, and harvesting fresh herbs from the garden maximizes flavor and nutrition, and you really cannot get that from store-bought herbs. Now is a great time to start chives indoors. There are perennials in most zones, so they're going to return yearly with little effort from you. Cilantro bolts quickly in the heat, but succession planting in shade cloth can extend its harvest. It also self-seeds readily when conditions are just right, even in grow bags. Cilantro seeds are easy to save, as are dill and basil. Parsley, which is a biennial, does take a little bit more effort to save seeds, but still manageable with the right timing. Now that these high-yield summer crops are planned out, the next step is ensuring strong, healthy starts. To grow the most productive plants and save seeds for future harvests, I perfected a few key starting tricks over the past 12 years after experimenting with soil blocks, potting up, and other methods. Mastering the basics of seed starting allows you to adapt and find what works best for you. I don't like to pot up anymore because it was really tedious for me. So now I start seeds in 3-inch pots and I grow them in the same soil for 6 to 8 weeks before transplanting. Here in Zone 8A, I like to plant out after May 1st to avoid cool, rainy weather that can lead to diseases like blight, and I don't start seeds before early March. You can adjust your timing based on your microclimate and keep track in a garden journal. I've used Happy Frog potting soil for years. It's light, well-draining, and great for seedlings. I pre-wet it before I add it to the pots so that it feels like a wrung-out sponge. I've been using Bootstrap Farmers super durable 3-inch pots and trays for 5 years, and they work great for bottom watering. I know that these are going to last for years to come. I use heat mats every time to maintain 75°F soil temps, boosting germination speed and rates. Then I remove them once the seeds sprout. Side note, I usually plant 2 seeds per pot because 100% germination usually does not happen. After 10 years with shop lights, I've switched to a MetriGrow 100-watt grow light for better efficiency in my small space, which is my bedroom, because I don't need my big wire shelves holding hundreds of seedlings anymore. Once everything germinates, bottom watering is quick and easy, although I do find it relaxing to water everything from the top. I just have to make sure to avoid overwatering. Healthy starts lead to heavy harvest, but what if you could keep your best plants going year after year? The key to saving heirloom seeds is keeping varieties pure even in a small space. You don't need fancy isolation techniques and tons of space to keep your tomato and pepper varieties pure. You just need a simple little trick. I used to worry about cross-pollination, especially with all the varieties I grow close together, but once I discovered this method, I've never had a problem keeping seeds true. Tomatoes and peppers are self-pollinating, but insects can still cross-pollinate. A simple mesh bag over the flowers keeps pollinators out and ensures your seeds stay pure. Once the fruit forms, remove the bag and then let the fruit fully ripen before harvesting the seeds. Just make sure to tie a string around the stems to remember which ones were isolated. Now we started these major summer crops indoors and even look forward to saving their seeds for a lifetime of harvest, so let's wrap up with 5 hardening off tips. This is for 6 to 8 weeks from now, when these seedlings are ready to go outside and become even more robust. I gradually expose seedlings to sunlight starting on overcast days or in shaded areas, increasing exposure over a week. An unheated hoop greenhouse like this one can protect them while adjusting to outdoor conditions, but it's good to vent it on sunny days to prevent overheating because it does get extremely hot in here. I start with 1 to 2 hours outdoors on the first day, increasing daily exposure over 7 to 10 days. If you're not home all the time, you can place them where they get morning and evening light but shade during the sunniest part of the days. You can use a fan indoors to help strengthen seedlings with a gentle breeze so that wind isn't a total shock to them, but during their first hardening off days outside, it's good to protect them from strong wind gusts. I try to keep the seedlings well watered before taking them outside, and then check the soil moisture as much as I can while they're out there, as drying out can happen quickly in the small pots. I watch the forecast closely and bring the seedlings indoors at night if temperatures drop below around 55°F for the first several days. Starting these major summer crops indoors now means you're going to have a thriving, high-yielding garden in no time. Plus, by using heirloom seeds and simple seed saving techniques, the opportunity is there to grow food for life. In an upcoming video, I'll share the high-yielding crops that thrive when directly sown into warm soil after the last frost, so we can grow more in a smaller space with less effort. If you found this helpful, give this video a like, please, and let me know in the comments, what are you starting indoors this season? I'd love to keep growing food with you if you'd be willing to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.